Fury Road wasn't just a movie. It was a thunderous symphony of chaos, survival, and redemption. When it roared onto the screen in 2015, it redefined what action cinema could be. George Miller created a masterpiece of storytelling and spectacle, blending kinetic energy with rich, emotional undercurrents. But at its heart, Fury Road was about one thing: trust. Trust earned, trust broken, trust rebuilt. And no character embodied this theme more powerfully than Imperator Furiosa. So, when Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga was announced, fans were hopeful. The film promised to delve into the backstory of one of the most iconic characters in modern cinema. But instead of elevating Furiosa's legacy, the prequel stumbled. Critics pointed to recasting, the absence of Max, and its perceived similarity to Fury Road. But these criticisms, while valid, miss the core issues. The problem isn't just that Furiosa feels redundant, it's that it fundamentally undermines Fury Road by mishandling Furiosa's journey. The issues boil down to two key missteps: the introduction of Praetorian Jack and the handling of Dementus as Furiosa's nemesis. These choices not only weaken Furiosa, but also diminish the stakes and thematic depth of Fury Road. To understand these missteps, we need to revisit the DNA of the Mad Max Saga. At its core, the series is about survival and the search for humanity in a world where morality has decayed. Max's journey is one of loss and revenge, testing his humanity as he becomes a reluctant hero.
I'll say the names, and you say yes or no.
Furiosa's story, as introduced in Fury Road, mirrors these themes. She, too, loses someone she loves and embarks on a journey that challenges her moral center. Both characters act as beacons of hope, proving that even in the wasteland, humanity can endure. This thematic parallel is what makes their stories resonate so deeply. Let's dive into how Furiosa almost got it right and where it veered off the road. To understand why Furiosa falters, we need to revisit Fury Road. After decades of development hell, George Miller resurrected the Mad Max franchise with a film that was both a technical marvel and a storytelling triumph. Charlize Theron's Furiosa became the emotional center of the movie, stealing the spotlight from Max himself. Her arc, a desperate bid for redemption and freedom, was universally lauded, making Furiosa an instant icon. The parallels between Max and Furiosa are striking. Both characters endure profound personal loss. Max loses his family, and Furiosa loses her home and her mother. Their respective journeys are marked by vengeance and survival, but also by a struggle to hold on to their humanity. These themes are what anchor the Mad Max Saga, elevating it beyond pure action to a meditation on morality and hope.
I don't think I've ever hugged cast and crew as much as I did on this film when we were done. It was a really emotional goodbye. We had really been through it. We had lived it. We were in it. You know, it's still a very, very close family. And I don't think a lot of movies have that because it's just not enough time where you really feel like you've seen people at their worst and you've seen them at their best. And at the end of the day, you just kind of go, we did it.
During the production of Fury Road, Miller and his team wrote extensive backstories for every character, including Furiosa. This depth added layers to the world and informed the performances. A prequel focusing on Furiosa's origins felt inevitable. In fact, Miller reportedly began developing Furiosa alongside Fury Road, with a novel co-written by Nico Lathouris that delved into the character's early life. The seeds for Furiosa were planted early, but the execution didn't bear the same fruit. Let's start with the good. The opening sequence of Furiosa is phenomenal. It captures the raw emotion and thematic weight that the rest of the film struggles to maintain. The relationship between Furiosa and her mother is a standout. Her mother's courage and sacrifice establish her as a true hero and mentor. and her loss becomes the emotional foundation for Furiosa's journey. This relationship creates a beautiful thematic connection to Fury Road. Furiosa's fight to save the wives in Fury Road echoes her love for her mother and her attempt to honor that legacy. Like Max, Furiosa's journey is rooted in loss and her struggle to find purpose in a world devoid of morality. It's this bond that gives Furiosa her moral core and drive. What makes the opening work is its novelty. We don't know how her mother dies or when, which keeps us emotionally engaged. It's tragic, compelling, and most importantly, new. Unfortunately, the rest of the film fails to build on this foundation.
Pull over. You're going to pull over and get out. Stop!
Praetorian Jack is introduced as a Max-adjacent character, a lone wolf with a moral compass who shows kindness and support in a world that has none. On paper, this sounds promising. Jack's relationship with Furiosa could have added depth to her backstory, but in execution, it creates a fundamental contradiction. In Fury Road, Furiosa's mistrust of Max is central to their dynamic. The wasteland is a place where trust is a liability, especially between men and women. Max's arc hinges on earning Furiosa's trust through actions, not words. It's a hard-won relationship, and its payoff is deeply satisfying. But Furiosa undermines this by presenting Jack as a protector and ally who embodies the very qualities Furiosa struggles to find in Max. If Jack, a man, can show kindness and support, why wouldn't Furiosa carry that trust into her meeting with Max? The existence of Jack retroactively softens the world of Fury Road, making Furiosa's journey feel less impactful. What's frustrating is that Furiosa could have avoided this misstep. If Jack had betrayed Furiosa at her most vulnerable moment, it would have reinforced her mistrust of men and added an extra layer of tension to her relationship with Max in Fury Road. This betrayal would also highlight the thematic brutality of the wasteland, elevating Furiosa's arc rather than detracting from it. Jack's betrayal could have also blindsided the audience. We're familiar with the archetype of a Max-like character, someone rugged and noble in the wasteland. Subverting this expectation by having Jack betray Furiosa at the moment she most relies on him would have been a bold, unexpected twist. It would not only differentiate Furiosa from Fury Road, but also deliver a moment of genuine shock in a film that largely feels like a cover version of the original.
Behold, the might of Dementus!
Dementus falls into the pattern of the Romans, Genghis Khan, Hannibal, the people who maraud across a great vast land.
Chris Hemsworth's performance as Dementus is a highlight of the film. Playing against type, Hemsworth brings a manic, almost charismatic energy to the role, making Dementus a complex and fascinating villain. But while his performance shines, his character's role in the story weakens the larger narrative. In Furiosa, Dementus is positioned as Furiosa's nemesis, and she ultimately triumphs over him. This creates a significant problem. It lowers the stakes of Fury Road. If Furiosa has already faced and defeated a villain of Dementus's caliber, her struggle against Immortan Joe feels less significant. By resolving her vendetta against Dementus in Furiosa, the film robs Fury Road of some of its dramatic weight. Revenge stories often explore the darkness of the pursuit, the idea that seeking vengeance can consume the soul of the pursuer. Furiosa flirts with this idea, but doesn't fully commit. Furiosa maintains her nobility throughout, missing an opportunity to show how the wasteland could have stripped away a piece of her humanity. If Furiosa had explored this darkness, it could have set up a powerful redemption arc in Fury Road, where Furiosa regains her moral center. Furiosa could have still defeated Dementus, but at a cost. Perhaps Jack's betrayal could have been a part of this, adding complexity to the story. Alternatively, defeating Dementus could have directly led to Immortan Joe's rise to power. If Dementus's death allowed Joe to consolidate control and begin enslaving the wives, their fates would be inextricably tied to Furiosa's choices. This would add significant weight to her decisions and enrich the subtext of Fury Road, connecting the two films in a meaningful, character-driven way. Ultimately, Furiosa falters because it prioritizes spectacle over story. The Mad Max franchise has always been visually groundbreaking, but its true strength lies in its storytelling. Fury Road succeeded because every explosion and car chase was tied to character growth and emotional stakes. Furiosa, by contrast, feels like a collection of impressive set pieces that lack the narrative cohesion to make them resonate. A character-driven solution. If Furiosa had focused more on the emotional fallout of her mother's death and her betrayal by Jack, it could have created a richer, more character-driven narrative. These elements would have deepened our understanding of Furiosa's mistrust and made her arc in Fury Road even more impactful. Instead, the film's missteps leave it feeling disconnected and, at times, redundant. Furiosa isn't a bad film. It has moments of brilliance and performances that shine, but it's a missed opportunity. By mishandling key narrative elements, particularly Praetorian Jack and Dementus, the film undermines not only its own story, but also the legacy of Fury Road. The lesson here is simple. Story is king. Spectacle can entertain, but story endures. And in a franchise as iconic as Mad Max, enduring stories are what keep us coming back. What do you think? Did Furiosa live up to its potential, or do you agree that its story fell short? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because the only thing more barren than the wasteland is a YouTube channel without your input.